Friends, thank you for taking out time and joining this session early in the morning on Sunday. I promise you that you will find this session to be truly transformative. This is a practice I learned about 4 years back. And before that, my life was like the figure on the left hand side. I was in a constant spiral. Whatever I would do, irrespective of however much I would work, the results were not happening to my expectation, or if I, irrespective of what I was earning, the savings or investments were not growing. So that was a pattern I was caught into. And that was 2020 was the time when COVID had just started, and we had formed this community, mindful living community, started conducting sessions. And I happened to have a conversation with Yoshita, who is also from Symbiosis, my college. And she, in a conversation, mentioned about this book called The Magic. And I was completely taken aback because I had not heard about this book. I had not heard about Rhonda Burns till 2020. And we invited her to conduct a session on mindful living on the mindful for the mindful living community. And soon after, I read the book and I started practicing. This is the book, The Magic. In case you've not yet read it, please read. This is one of the simplest and the best books on the gratitude that I have come across. There are many books written on gratitude. This is one of the most powerful that I find. And my life has been an upward spiral since then. So that is what I intend to share with you. And before that, before we begin, I'll be happy to take any questions or comments that you have. We asked, requested for your questions in the registration also, but there are only one or two people who shared their questions. So if you have any questions or expectations from the session, you can unmute yourself and speak. This session is only for mindful living community. We didn't send out the invites outside on social media. So feel free to unmute, speak, discuss, question, and keep your cameras on so that we can have the maximum out of this session. Rhonda Bun, yes, author name. Thank you, thank you. So feel free to stop me your question anytime during the session. And you don't have to go by only my experience. I'll talk a little bit more about my experience maybe towards the end on how my life has been in this upward spiral since then. I can share details, or if you want to know something, you could ask me, and I'll be happy to share. But don't only go by what I am sharing or what my experience is. There is extensive research that has been done on this topic by many people. One of the leading researchers is Dr. Robert Emmons, who has been researching on gratitude for nearly 2 decades and has published many books, on this topic. You can Google on that. And he says the benefits of gratitude are multifold. Starting with physical benefits, it helps us build a stronger immune system. Aches and pains reduce, blood pressure reduces. People who are grateful exercise more, take better care of their health, and people sleep longer. This is something very interesting. And there was a point of time when I was having issues with sleep, and then there was a simple practice of thinking of things that I am grateful for before going to sleep, and that dramatically improved the quality of my sleep. So people, there is we are going to talk. We're going to finish the session by talking about some of the simple practices that you can incorporate in your daily life, and one of them is thinking of things you are grateful for before you go to sleep, the last thing you do, so to say. And the impact it has on it had on my sleep was at least awesome. And this is his research also that shows that. And there are psychological benefits, higher levels of positive emotions, more alert, alive, joyful, optimistic, happy, and experiencing more pleasure, more generous, compassionate, forgiving, and more outgoing. So there are many, many benefits, physical, social, psychological benefits, and this becomes very important for us because the times we are living in are challenging. Mental health is recognized as one of the top 25 global risks by World Economic Forum. So it's very important that we take care of not only our mental health, but also the mental health of people around us, whether it is our family or workers, co-workers, peers, whoever. So gratitude is one of the best things I like about gratitude is it is one of the simplest practices that we can have, which is suitable for many of the people who are in the corporate world who are extremely busy. So it's a very simple and yet very, very powerful practice. Uh, for those of you who are watching this on a video, let me take a minute to introduce myself. My name is Ashish Kumar, and I'm the founder of Mindful Living. I started Mindful Living community in 2020 when the first lockdown happened. At the request of few of my friends, I conducted a mindfulness session for them over a weekend to help them deal with the stress and anxiety that the lockdown was causing. One thing led to the other, and today we have become a vibrant community of over 3,000 people. Uh, for those of you who would like to join this community, we are going to share the link in the YouTube comments. Please click on the link and you're welcome to join the community. We don't advertise about the work we do, so the only way you can join us is by clicking on this link and joining the WhatsApp community. With that, let's dive into the session, understanding what is gratitude, the science behind gratitude, why we don't practice it as much, and simple ways we can incorporate it into our life. So, the gratitude is the quality of feeling thankful or appreciating whatever is going right in our lives. Most of the times we are conditioned to look for what is going wrong, and that is also because that has helped us survive over the millions of years that human beings have been on the planet Earth. But today we don't live in jungles. Our survival is not at threat. It is a good time for us to start rewiring our brains to start appreciating what is going on right in our life. And it takes practice. It sounds very simple, but it takes practice. But the good thing is, with practice, like with anything, we can keep getting better and better. So the session today is divided into four parts. What is the science behind gratitude? Why gratitude? What is gratitude gap? And practicing gratitude, simple practices to practice gratitude. The science behind gratitude is very simple. It's based on the laws of nature that every action has an equal or and opposite reaction. And when we insert gratitude in this, it reads every action of giving thanks always causes an equal and opposite reaction of receiving. So the more thankful we are, the more we receive. It is as simple as that. If we would like to look at another example from nature, it is what we sow is what we get. The soil is the same, the environment is the same for everybody. If I sow the seeds of a bitter gourd, I'll get bitter gourd. If I sow seeds of a juicy, delicious mango tree, I'll get juicy, mango tree, which gives me juicy, delicious fruits. Soil is same, water is same, air is same, sunlight is same. What makes the difference is the seed that I am sowing in. So we need to be cognizant of the seeds that I am sowing. Am I saying I don't like my job? I don't have enough money. And I don't have enough money is not a function of the amount of money we have got. It's a function of how am I comparing myself with other people. My needs, all my family needs may be taken care of, but just because my neighbor or my colleague has got more, I feel I don't have enough. And we constantly keeps logged in that pattern. I don't have enough money, and then the circumstances or the situations in the life are happen like that justify this thought process. I can't find a perfect partner. I can't pay my bills. Every time a bill comes, and this is, I speak for myself also. Every time a bill comes and I have to pay, there is, there is a, it hurts paying bills. But then, how can you replace that hurt with gratitude? Is something we're going to look at. I don't get along with my parents, or my child is a problem. So many parents have this problem with their children, and children have problem with the parents, so it goes both ways. So what is the narrative that we have for our life is what determines the outcomes. I work very hard, but finances never appreciate. But if we sow bitter gourd, then we will get bitter gourd. But if we sow mango gutli, we will get fruit of sweet mangoes. So if we replace those thoughts, once we realize what are the thoughts I'm sowing, and replace them with thoughts like, I love my job, my family is very supportive, I feel amazing today, then our outcomes change. There is no two ways about it. From my personal experience and from so much of research that has happened, this completely works. There is no exception to this. This is very, very powerful practice, and the more gratitude we have, the more abundance we magnetize, and it accelerates career, good health in every area of life. It works. There is no exception to this. One thing that we need to understand is that to start receiving, we need to give first. So say thank yous. And there is a concept of prepaid gratitude, which Mr. Manoj Lekhi talks about. So normally we think that we are thankful when we receive things, but he says you be thankful even before you receive. And that helps in creating the conditions favorable. So think and say thank you. And the more we feel about it, it's not only mental. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks a lot about the thoughts have electrical power, and the feelings have magnetic power. So when we think and feel gratitude, it really makes it very powerful, and things start happening in our life. Why gratitude? This was one of the questions that was asked in the when people were registering. How can it help me deal with overthinking, anxiety, depression, etc.? And this is a beautiful energy scale given by Dr. David Hawkins in his lovely book called Power versus Force. And he has calibrated the energy levels associated with different emotions. And there are low energy level emotions, and there are high energy level emotions. And 200, which is courage, is the break-even point. And beyond that, your life starts moving upwards, that upward spiral I spoke about. And every time we are in the low energy emotions, that the challenge with energy emotions is it will keep you trapped in those. It's very difficult to escape the low energy emotions. We don't realize it, we're not conscious about it, and we just keep going round and round and round in that. But the thing with gratitude is it's almost impossible to be grateful and be in a lower energy emotion. So when we start appreciating what is going right in our life, we automatically, and that right need not be like I won a Nobel Prize today. Even the fact that I have got up in the morning, I need to be grateful for. There are millions of people who die in sleep every day. But the fact that we are alive and we are breathing is itself something to be grateful for. And when we recognize these small things that are going on right in our life, then a good more it magnetizes and attracts more and more good in our life. So it's just about being grateful for whatever is going right, and there is more right going on in our life. It's a guarantee from my side that if you go back and look at your lives, if you ponder, and maybe I'll request you to pause for 30 seconds, and on a scale of 10, think how many things are going right in your life. And if you are comfortable, please type in the chat, out of 10 or out of 100, how many things are going right for you? Pause, reflect, how many things are going right for you? And if you're comfortable, share that number in the chat. And if you are not, at least write done. that you have pondered and you've come across that number. Thank you, Brigadier Vidar. So I'll let you reflect on this and come to your own number. But the point is, typically what happens is, like in case of Brigadier Vidar, he says 9 things are going on right. But typically what happens is done. Thank you, Balaji. Uh, that one thing which is not going right will almost entirely consume my thought process, and it look at relationships, between spouses. Everything is going right, but there is one thing I don't like about that husband or wife, and then that draws my complete attention and sucks me into it and keeps me logged in this low energy circle. And or if you look at a workplace, if you look at a boss or colleague, there everything right about the boss or the junior who's reporting to you, but that one thing which irritates you and then completely consumes your entire mental energy. But the trick is, or the key is to keep coming back and focusing on what is going right about the person, about your life, about your health. And as long as you're focused on what is going right, it magnetizes your life and completely more and more good happens for you. I'll pause here to see if you have any questions or comment. Thank you, Brigadier Vidar. Thank you, Vijay. So 6 were almost. So someone, I can't see the name, but someone 6. So 6 is like more good than more right than wrong, which is great. So I'll pause here to see if you have any questions or comments before I move on. If it's okay for me to move on, type move on mo, and then I'll move on. Otherwise, we'll pause to hear your questions or comments. Please type if it's okay for me to move on, or if you have questions or comments, let me know. Thank you, Hassan. Thank you, Vijay. Thank you, Balaji. So we'll move on. And, this is now I'll share some success stories from the business world. Many of us work or have worked in the corporate sector. And this is a few examples from the business sector. Oprah Winfrey is somebody I love talking about. She was born on a farm in a very poor neighborhood, in a very poor part of America, and she was born to a single mom, and she was abused as a child. So that was the kind of childhood she had, and from that she has grown on to become a billionaire, self-made billionaire with worth about $3 billion, which is about 24,000 crores. And she has this practice of gratitude. And somebody asked her, somebody told her that, Oprah, it's very easy for you to be grateful because you have got everything in life. And the response which Oprah gave was so beautiful. She said, it's not because I have everything in life I am grateful. It is because I am grateful I have got everything in life. So that is the beauty of gratitude, irrespective of what conditions you are born in, irrespective of what has happened to you in your life. If you practice gratitude, if you are focused on what is going right in your life, it will grow more and more. The right will grow more and more in your life. So these are some examples. Tony Robbins, Ariana Huffington, they all practice gratitude. Many senior scientists, Albert Einstein had a practice of saying thank you, thank you, thank you 100 times. So whether you are a scientist or business person or whichever field of life you come from, practicing of gratitude is very, very powerful. Why do we not practice gratitude? It seems so nobody likes to think that I am ungrateful. मैं भी नहीं था जब पहली बार सुना तो मुझे लगा gratitude, मैं तो हूँ grateful, I am grateful, but we are not grateful enough. And there is and that is where the gap is. We are not ungrateful, but we're not practicing gratitude enough for it to work for us. And that is the gap. Why why are we not grateful enough? Because we tend to take things for granted. दो हाथ हैं, ये तो शुरू से ही थे. आंख है, ये तो शुरू से ही थी. कान है, सुनाई दे रहा है, तो ये तो पहले से ही था. तो इसमें बड़ी बात क्या है? बट उनसे पूछो जिसके हाथ नहीं है, उनके पैर नहीं है. वो दे विल डू एनीथिंग इन देयर लाइफ टू हैव टू हैंड्स, टू लेग्स. बट लुक एट दिस जेंटलमैन, ही इज लिविंग हिज लाइफ फुल ऑन. हाथ हो ना हो, वो जिंदगी जी रहा है पूरी. तो हमको ये कल्टीवेट करना है हर छोटी चीज को जिसको हम ग्रांटेड लेते हैं. वी टेक अवर पेरेंट्स फॉर ग्रांटेड, स्पाउस फॉर ग्रांटेड, चिल्ड्रन फॉर ग्रांटेड, अवर वर्क फॉर ग्रांटेड. सो मेनी पीपल क्रिब अबाउट द वर्क प्लेस दे हैव. बट आपके पास नौकरी तो है, तो आप जा रहे हो ना. कितने लोगों के पास नौकरी नहीं है और वो कुछ भी करेंगे नौकरी के लिए. तो हर चीज को ग्रांटेड मत लीजिए. सनराइज हुआ आज, वही इतना वंडरफुल है, इतना मिराकुलस है. यू नो in winter months, in Delhi or in London or in many other cold parts, if you don't get sun, it gets so biting cold. हमारे यहाँ सूरज होता है, हम उसको कुछ थैंक यू नहीं बोलते, ओम सूर्याय नमः नहीं बोलते. तो सब ग्रांटेड लेते हैं, बट ग्रांटेड लेने से वो मिराकल का पावर खत्म हो जाता है. द मोर यू फील ग्रेटफुल, the more magic starts happening in your life. And some other reasons why we don't express gratitude enough is because it will make me look like a softie. मैं सबकी तारीफ करूंगा तो लोग बोलेंगे यार ये तो बहुत आराम से खुश हो जाता है, तो फिर लोग कॉम्प्लिसेंट हो जाएंगे. बट ऐसा होता नहीं है. देयर इज लॉट ऑफ रिसर्च that has shown that, and this is by Adam Grant, who is one of the foremost organizational psychologists in the world, where they did an experiment where, I'll just go through this in brief. There was a team of students who were doing fundraising in a university, and they divided them in two groups. In one group, the dean came and thanked the people who were doing. Fundraising is a very difficult task because you said you hear no more often than you hear yes. So the group that was appreciated by the dean, their efforts were their results were much better. So this shows, and there are many other examples where when people are grateful for appreciative, rather than result going down, the result actually goes up. But for many reasons, we don't express gratitude. And one of them is that I'm so busy. But there is nothing more urgent than expressing gratitude. And the more gratitude you express, the better is the outcome. Think in terms of the bosses you have had or the people you have had in your life. Do you work more or do more for people who appreciate you, or you do more for people who whip you and kick you and abuse you? It's very, very intuitive. We rise up and do more than work. It's called discretionary work. Discretionary work आप वहां ज्यादा अच्छा करते हो जहां पे आपका appreciation होता है. And now we come to the last part of the session, which is about practicing gratitude. And before we do that, I'll invite you to for a brief mindfulness practice, and then we will have some basic practices which you can incorporate in your life for practicing gratitude. So I invite you to, and in fact, before that, if there are any questions or comments, yeah, thank you, Vijay. If there are any questions or comments, we can take that. Okay, fair enough. So please sit straight, closing your eyes gently, chin parallel to the ground. And bring your attention to the breath that we are taking. Every minute. Just observe every breath that is coming in and every breath that is moving out. Relax Bring a gentle smile to your face and savor every breath that you are taking in. We breathe about 29,000 times in a day, but rarely do we pay any attention to the breath that we are taking in. This is your chance to enjoy juicy, delicious breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Continue to breathe. The air we breathe is provided to us free of cost. Absolutely. Unlimited amount of oxygen, free of cost. This is a bounty given to us. If we were to pay for the air that we are breathing over a lifetime, it will cost us about 5 crore rupees. We get all this air to breathe free of cost. And this oxygen sustains us, gives us energy. Most of us won't last for more than 3 minutes if we couldn't breathe, if we didn't have this oxygen. Say thank you for the air we breathe. Say thank you, universe, for providing this air to us in abundance, to us and to our family members. Continue to breathe. In a couple of seconds from now, we'll come to the end of this practice. And do another one, which is called the Lotus of Gratitude. Before we finish this mindfulness practice, consider setting an intention that this practice of being mindful and grateful will help you and everyone you come in touch with. Thank you for practicing mindfulness with me. And once you're comfortable, you may type in the chat how this experience of mindfulness practice was, or you may unmute yourself and speak. If you would like to share later, that is fine too. Thank you, Hassan. Thank you, Balaji. Thank you, Rajiv.
So very refreshing.
Thank you, Brigadier Wither. Thank you. We will now do a practice called the Lotus of Gratitude, which I learned from my teacher, Nitya Shanti. It's a very simple practice. We will hold our hands like this and think of one thing that you are grateful for today. And as you think of that thing, you can open one finger and keep opening them and then at the end we will have a nice lotus of gratitude. So it could be something as simple as I mentioned earlier, that I woke up today and I'm alive, or I have oxygen to breathe. I used to live in Gurgaon earlier where the AQI used to be 500. In Pune, it is 100. So I get to breathe clean air. So I'm grateful for that. I am grateful to my wife for making a lovely cup of coffee for me early in the morning. So whatever you're grateful for, think of that one thing and just open one bud each time, one leaf each time, and then we'll have the whole lotus. So you may do this in silence and do this by yourself. And when you are done, please type done in the chat box so that for those whose cameras are not on, we will know that you're done with the practice. Lotus of gratitude, one thing that you are grateful for. I'm grateful to each one of you for joining this session today. You can express gratitude to yourself also. You can be grateful to yourself for taking out time and joining the session today. The time you invest in your learning gives manifold returns. It offers one of the best returns on time invested. You may feel grateful for Mother Earth, who provides us with all the food that we eat, with all the resources that we need to sustain our life. Thank you, Balaji. You can do this simple practice first thing in the morning. Thank you, Devrana. And also the last thing before you go to sleep. Thank you, Hassan. Thank you, Anjali. And also the last thing when you go to sleep, Think of one or two or three things that have happened during the day which you are grateful for. And the more you think of those things, the more good starts happening in your life. The other simple practice, which I find very interesting, is being grateful for food, because we eat many times during the day. And thank you, Anjali. And saying Annadata Sukhi Bhava whenever we are eating or drinking is a good way to practice gratitude. And Annadata Sukhi Bhava happens at multiple levels. And the Annadata is, the Mother Earth, which provides us with everything, with the food. The Annadata also is the farmer who grows it for us. Annadata is the person who cooks it for us. Annadata is the person who serves it for us. So you could feel Annadata Sukhi Bhava and feel gratitude for the farmer who toils very hard to grow this food for us. You can say Annadata Sukhi Bhava to your mother or wife or husband, whoever is cooking for you. And you could say Annadata Sukhi Bhavat for the earth, which provides with the water, sunlight, with all the resources for the food to grow. So, and we eat multiple times in a day. So, and this hardly takes any time, it takes few seconds. So you can say, Annadata Sukhi Bhava,
एटीट्यूड के ऊपर क्वेश्चन
Annadata Sukhi Bhava for the food. Now, uh, these are two very simple practices. Third one, which Albert Einstein used to do, is say thank you. He would just say thank you, keep saying thank you throughout the day. And one practice which Rhonda Burns talks about is saying thank you when you go for a walk or when you're walking, so 100 steps, which takes about a minute or 2 minutes. So as you keep taking step, keep saying thank you. So if you are walking towards the lift, you say thank you. Or while you are in the lift, you say thank you. Or wherever you're going to the ATM, keep saying thank you as you're walking. So, and that's simple, very powerful. And you can say thank you for the people who are serving you. Your maid comes, you say thank you to her for coming. The people who are sweeping our societies, our homes, the cleaners who are cleaning our car. So say thank you to the people who are serving you. And that is very, very powerful. And you can just keep saying thank you throughout the day to the people in your lives, to the money that you have got. And there is very interesting
चलो
there is a very interesting book called Happy Money, in which is written by Ken Honda, and in that he talks about Wai Takeda. Wai Takeda is a Japanese billionaire. He is no more, but all he would keep doing was say thank you, thank you, thank you throughout the day. Thank you, money, arigato, money. They in Japanese they say arigato, money, thank you, money, thank you, money, thank you, money, and this is all he would do. And Ken Honda talks about this in his book that whenever he would go to meet Wai Takeda, some news of some money flowing into the Ken Honda would happen because he's in that energy field where he's saying thank you. Why Takeda is saying thank you. So whenever you are receiving money, irrespective of however small it is, feel grateful for the money that you're receiving. And whenever you are paying, feel grateful that you have the money to pay rather than feel irritated about having spending money. Feel grateful about money. So that is another place where you can practice. When you are receiving, say thank you, money. When you're paying, thank you for having money to pay for this bill. So that's another simple practice. You can say thank you for the money to pay this bill, or thank you for the money to buy this. You can just keep saying thank you every time you are buying or receiving money or paying money. Another place you can say thank you is your health. There are many people who have health challenges, but what is important is to stay focused on what is going right. And this is one thing Dr. Brigadier Vidur had shared with me, with us in one of the sessions about people in the army hospital who can't even excrete, and they need help for their daily excretions. And since then, whenever I am relieving myself, I say thank you for my excretory system working perfectly well. Because imagine, if you're not able to excrete, this is something which we take for so much for granted. So we can just keep saying thank you. When we get up and we wash our face, say thank you for the water. Imagine we go to the washroom and there is no water in the washroom. So thank you for the wash. So you can just live in an entire sense of abundance and gratitude for everything that is there in our life. And on that note, I will bring the session to a conclusion, and we will open it up to any questions or comments that you may have. So thank you very much for joining, and happy to hear your thoughts.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, Surya sir.
Thank
Good
you,
morning.
sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. You'll have a nice day. Now,
Thank you. Your voice is not.
Thank you
Thank you. Thank you, Anjali.
for a very good day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Wonderful session.
Thank you, Brigadier Vedder. Thank you so much. Yes, Hassan, very true. Thank you, Srilata. Without the technology, this would not have happened. Thank you, Vijay. Uh, and without electricity, this would not have happened. Electricity powers all our lives, but we rarely pay attention to electricity. Uh, and that silently keeps powering all our lives. And Pune electricity tends to go off from time to time. And whenever it goes, then we realize, thank you, Rajiv. That's when I realize, how much important it is for us to carry on with our lives. Without electricity, nothing will move. Thank you, Devpurna. Thank you, Rashmi. Yes, Hassan, thank you very much. And this is beautiful, it grows. Thank you, Asmita. Thank you, Payal. And this is like falling in love, you just fall in love with everything that is around you. Thank you, Bhavna. You fall in love with yourself, because one of the important practices in gratitude, which Rhonda Byrne talks about, and I think that's the last chapter, which is being grateful to ourselves. And most of the times we are expressing gratitude to others, but we don't appreciate ourselves, and that is also very important. And it takes the life to a completely different level. Thank you, Payal. So I mentioned at the start of the session that I'll share my personal journey with gratitude. And I read this book. First time I read this book was in July 2020. And that was the time the second lockdown, I think, was going on. So still very tough times. And in 1 month, our family income. So I started reading this on 1st of July. And by 28th of July, when I finished the last chapter, there are 28 chapters and 28 practices in this. My family income had gone up by 40%. And this was the time when COVID was there, So there were very limited opportunities to move out. But my income went up, my family income went up. And yes. And since then it has been a virtual upwards circle, and life just keeps getting better and better. As a part of my practice, gratitude practice, I send a thank you mail to Yoshita, who introduced me to this practice. And I have every year letters, which I've written to Yoshita, that what happened to me on 20 to 21, 21 to 22, and 22 to 23, and the next one I'm going to send her in next couple of months. And I see, how my life has changed every year, just keeps getting better and better in every way, whether it is relationships, health, wealth, everything. So it is a very magical practice, and it just grows on you over a period of time. One thing I would like to caution is that initially it may be small, but don't give up the practice. It is like it has a snowballing effect. So it keeps getting bigger and bigger as you grow with the practice. But sometimes people tend to give it up in the initial days, thinking that यार ये तो काम नहीं कर रही है, तो कई लोगों के लिए बहुत सटल होता है शुरू में. So just because it's small and subtle, don't give it up. just stay with the practice, daily practice. This is my gratitude journal, which I keep filling, and I have like many of these filled out. So this is a daily practice. So keep up with the practice, and for sure it will work. There is no two way. There is enough science about it. I have not talked so much about science, but today, but there is enough science. I've been researching on this topic for over 4 years now, and the more I research, the more solidly convinced I get about this practice.
In fact, I must read this book, Sir Magic, because my concept of gratitude, is actually unlike the last chapter you're talking about this book, Magic.
Yeah.
I feel it is because of over love for overconfidence of myself that I generally avoid paying gratitude to the people. It is, it is because I feel everything has happened because of me. It's
Correct.
only when I pay gratitude that I realize that yes, everything doesn't happen because of you. There are others who give you more happiness.
Yeah.
It is because of that bus driver that I reach my office, in time. It is because of that cook I get a good food.
Absolutely.
So it otherwise that ego or my ahankar, that stops me paying gratitude. So it is worth reading this book, especially for the last chapter. Of course, everything comes before that.
Yeah. It's a very important point that you have made, Brigadier Vidar, and there are many people who don't practice gratitude. So there was one conversation I was having with somebody, and she said exactly the same thing that you're mentioning. अगर मैं दूसरों को थैंक यू बोलूंगी तो मेरी इंपॉर्टेंस कहाँ रहेगी फिर? मैं तो कुछ मतलब सारा क्रेडिट तो मैंने दूसरे को दे दिया, तो मेरा कहाँ है? So I think another reason why gratitude works very, very well is it reduces your aham. And as your aham comes down, the magic starts happening in your life. जब तक हम सोचते हैं कि हम कर रहे हैं सब कुछ, तब तक बहुत लिमिटेड होता है हमारी लाइफ में. ऐसा नहीं है कि होता नहीं है, बट कम होता है. बट जब हम सरेंडर कर देते हैं कि यार ये there is a greater power. And there is this very interesting book, The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. And that is the other book which helped me, completely transform my life. So The Magic by Rhonda Burns and Surrender by Michael Singer played a big role in my life and, helping me become what I have become today, which is completely happy. And then what you get when you practice gratitude and surrender is effortless success, there was this bhajan I was playing, and I'll share the link in the group also. Bhagwan aapki kripa se mera sab kaam ho raha hai. It's a beautiful bhajan. Please listen to it. It's slightly long, about 20 minutes, but it's amazing. The insights that the singer, Mr. Vinod Agarwal, has provided in that bhajan is awesome. If you want, I was playing it before the session started, but I left it in between. If you want, we can listen to the remaining 10 minutes of that bhajan now. And we can close the session at 9, or if there is anything else you would like to discuss, happy to do that. Or I can share the link in the group and you can listen to it at leisure. Okay, I guess that's all for today. Thank you very much for joining the session. For the next session, we will share the details in the group in the next few days. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful
Thank you so much, sir. Had a wonderful time. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anjali. Thank you, everyone.